Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Thor issue 31. Kind of a crazy cover here. And this one was actually $4.99 instead of $3.99 because it had like an extra story in the back, which was actually quite enjoyable. So, we had last left Thor pretty much looking into this whole kind of thing and what it kind of means for him. And we see that we get there, and what he's looking at is like time completely unfolding for him. He sees like the beginning and the end, past, present, future, everywhere. Odin's telling him to stop, we need to leave, it hurts. And finds the weight of eternity too heavy to bear, even for a god. As someone pretty much grabs at him, and we see that it is Lausa, but like her in the future when she's grown up. And it's funny, she's like, don't look into the time storm, you nitwit. And she was supposed to be like all mysterious like and disappear back into the future. And saying that like he was the one that taught her not to do that. And here you are mindlessly gawking into perpetuity. And Odin's still kind of being like, ah crap! As Thor's like, Lausa? She's like, yes, as they're having a nice little moment. And Thor's like, what is a time storm? What do you mean? How old are you? What's going on? Well, I know that you're the one frying your mind. It's like, that's not good. And then she's going back. She's like, just check on your dead. And he's like, what does that mean? She's like, I don't know. You told me to tell you that. And then we go to Valhalla later as we see pretty much Jane Valkyrie doing her stuff, talking about like people and wars and everything like that. How about he never talked about the war. Every night he'd be dreaming about those times he pulled the trigger and did not. When he got here, he was reunited with his sister. He never knew about the battles that she fought every day of her life. She did not talk about her wars either. There are different kinds of warriors and everything, and that on their death they meet us, the Valkyries, and Valhalla is their reward. And she's like, I leave you alone for less than a fortnight, and you lose them all. It's like, yeah, that's a big kind of thing. And she's like, okay, it's empty, you call me. And we see, he's like, yeah, we do. And Odin's like, it wasn't my idea. And she's like, you don't have to cover for Odin, or is it Modin now? As he's pretty much just being a dick towards her. And Thor's trying to tell him enough. Well, I could put you out of your misery, but then where would you go? And he's like, this is how you speak to me? As he's like floating, trying to like do some shit, and he's like, Thor's like, one moment, and slams his ass down. She's like, you should consider putting a leash on that one, perhaps a chain. He's like, oh, I thought of it, Jane, I know I have failed. And then she's like, no, it was me, Valhalla was mine to protect, but I don't know where even to begin to bring back the dead, or even if it's possible. And then asks what she sees with her eyes. And we see like half-drunk glasses of mead, profound emptiness, like the realm itself is dying without the dead. Valhalla's soil has lost its purpose. Of course, talking about mobilizing an army and needing to fight whatever this is. And of course, he says there's more. They go to Asgard, talking about how they're under attack. She's like, what the fuck happened to the Bifrost? He's like, that was me. Long story. He talks about, like, we're under attack. I don't know who the enemy is or how they mean to destroy us. He's not in control. His father, Runa, and his sister know more than him. And she's like, the toddler. And he's like, long story again. She told me to check on the dead and they're gone. I fear it's time we seek out their goddess. To hell, then. And she's like, I'll summon horses. He's like, nay. And then he, of course, summons his goats. And Odin's like, those damn goats. And she's wondering if Thor made a nay joke. And he's like, nay, as he does that. And she's just looking at him like, damn. And of course, he then unleashes the goats, which look pretty friggin' awesome in the art style. And then we get this fucking amazing one as they ride into hell, and we see these great monstrous Valravens that are eating the dead and just fucking saying weird shit. And it's like, what the fuck? And of course we see that hell is empty too, and that it's broken. It's like, what the fuck? And Jane's like, what the hell are these things? Valraven, ravens who fed on the flesh and souls of the fallen in the first battles. This was before nature was properly established, and they grew big and unruly. And Odin's like shouting shit like, they're aberrations, they should have been killed millennia ago. And of course, Hela kept them on the outskirts because of their unfortunate eating of the dead. And then, of course, Jane's like, all right, where's Hela and Carnilla? And Odin's pretty much calling out Thor, saying, stop sneaking around, show those fuckers who's boss. It's like, we don't even know what the fuck's going on. He's like, they're harmless. Hela always had a soft spot for him. I can relate, as, of course, Thor's ravens pop up to pretty much give him an idea. They searched everywhere. The queens are gone, did not find their bodies among the dead. And then, of course, Odin's getting pissed off and just fucking goes to, like, thunder crack some ass. And they're like, ah, shit! And he goes, Hugin, Munin? And they're like, on it. And he's like, I hate that hammer. It's like, yeah, it's causing more trouble than it's worth. And then he kind of, like, gets on him. He almost gets stomped out by one of the Valraven. It's like, where the fuck did they go? And we see that Jane protected him with her wings and everything, telling, like, where are your queens? Where are the dead? Asking about them, saying that there's no sovereigns in the realm. Death came to the land of the dead, and now they're all gone. We rule hell now. And then, of course, Thor is not having any of that. Shows off his power and everything. He's like, I'm still the king of Asgard. King of the realms, Lord of the realms. And he has questions. They're like, ah, shit, sorry. That is better. Now, it is back. Help us. And then we see this fucking thing, which looks fucking gnarly as shit. It's like, what the hell is that? And then they try to get it to eat them. And then we see that it's Nidhogg, eater of the dead, terror of corpses, but the beast is supposed to be dead. What does your sight tell you? As Jane tries to look at it as they start to battle it, saying that, like, it's not alive, it has not one soul, but somewhere inside it, something that is not a heart is beating, and something that is not a mind is thinking. It's like, what the fuck is that? I love that kind of talking. And something that is not a soul is screaming as Odin Mjolnir pops out of the eye. That is just amazing. And then he, of course, apologizes about the snake goo, and Odin isn't talking to him. And then we shift over to Latveria, saying that it's not the beginning. It's not the beginning of the end. That was some time ago. We're close to the middle. Humanity doesn't have the attention span for Armageddon. And then talks about this kid, this dude Oliver, how he got outrun the wildfire. But then talking about if he left the dog behind, and saying that he was a casualty of the end of the world. Yet humanity is indifferent to fires that took him, or yesterday's news, yesterday's tragedies. Tell me something. When they come to you, are they angry? As we see that he has Hela, wondering what the mortals say to her, and she's like, you forget, Victor Von Doom, you are mortal too. I may be mortal, Hela, but as you know very well by now, Doom does not lack resolve, as he does something with the soul of Oliver. It's like, what are you doing, Doom? So that'll be interesting to see what kind of goes on with that. So then we shift over to when one door closes in Avengers Mountain, and we see Bast. It needs to talk to sniffing Odin, saying that she can smell him in there, saying that he owes her a boon. And we see that Thor evidently has a decent relationship with her as she shifts from panther form to her more humanoid form, which looks fucking amazing. Like, I hadn't been really that well versed with how they present Bast, and it's just like, cool, elegant hunters, perhaps the son of Odin can repay his father's debt. If Odin's worth be within you, child, then I accept the pleasure. Ah, and there's my champion. Bast, it seems fortune has turned in my favor. She has need of him. And then, of course, T'Challa tries to go through the lineage thing, and she's like, listen, I get that. Saying that T'Challa looks well, and that she needs to send them both somewhere. Thor saying that they're up to the challenge. There's worlds outside of his dominion. She, of course, doesn't have a doorman as keen as Heimdall, and that they have to go to her temple. One gate has been broken open to the Duat, which is interesting because I've looked into certain kind of Egyptian mythology, and that's it's interesting to kind of see what the Duat kind of is here. It's the land of the dead, dominion of the immortal, Eniad. of course, like the Egyptian mythology. It's like, ooh, yeah. And of course, there's things that can't come in here, so their task seems simple enough. But first, they have to go. They go to Lower Chad first. The first of avatars for the first of gates. I mean no harm, creature, but I have need of your essence this day. As we see a big cat kind of growling and everything. And so, all right then, T'Challa now, as he's kind of like, kind of dealing with it, and then T'Challa finally tranks it, and they kind of carry it. Lasts long enough for the task. We need to move to the temple quickly. So they get there in Lower Egypt. The first gate should be found a hectometer down this central path. Then, of course, the companion should reveal Bast's portal. Thor saying that he has sensed his fighting spirit has returned, eagle for this battle champion. Remembering old ones, my friend. Aye, 'tis not the first time a pretty face has led us on a grand adventure. Let us hope it is not the last. As they kind of get ready, we see the cat's eyes glowing green. It's like, Jesus Christ. So they pop up in the throne room of Bast, and we see this big fucking alligator kind of creature. It's like, what the hell? And it's Ammit, who's like, 3 to devour. Magic, meat, and key. A beast to free Ammit, the heart of a mortal to devour, and the tool of a god to wield as one's own. And soon the devourer of the dead might escape this room to sit upon the sky god's throne. It's like, shit, that ain't good. And Thor's like, I ain't gonna have any of that. Telling him to return whence he came. You're not worthy to other than name Mjolnir, much less wield mine hammer. Saying that, like, Ammit was formed before your creation, young upstart. Though fresh deity may not be current concern, but mortal flesh, a human's heart. And of course, T'Challa's like, yeah, my heart's gonna take more than just your shit, man. Says to prepare to fight. Saying that, like, let the gate be your task to the Asgardian. Ammit is mine. And Ammit's not a god, but not an easy foe. Do you know the battle raged for Ra's full circuit? Which is pretty fucking amazing. And Bast is saying that she was proud of her champion. And says that Odin should be proud of his son. How so? Great Odin's pride is in himself. It's like, screw you, Odin. Did Mjolnir, my magic, not mend the seal? Was the victory not mine own? Your victory only held the audacity of a male. Who forced the demon back to the realm of the dead? It power be the catalyst, and the battle was won by Bast. It's like, yeah, typical gods just fight out over who did something and how they did it. And of course, someone's like, I don't think not. I think not. You can think whatever you want, old god. You still owe me a boon. As they pretty much are dealing with the aftermath of the battle, as the cat is now licking Mjolnir. And it's like, that was a cool little thing. I kind of liked Thor and T'Challa teaming up and helping Bast deal with something, and they just were okayed with helping out. And Odin just being a cantankerous old dick cheese. But granted, that's pretty much Odin anyway. So, I really liked that we got our good main story and an extra. I'm like, okay, I know this isn't really like an important milestone issue. It was nice to kind of get an extra one in here. And it's just like, yeah. And the art style, I like the main art style, but this was really good art as well. I'm like, all right, I would not mind seeing her running this way. So, Thor knows that things are going nutty. He's confided in someone. They got to figure out what's going on. And somebody's made moves. Evidently, Doom is making moves on, like, at least the land of the dead. We don't know if he is linked up with what was going on with Valhalla. But if you're fucking around in hell and doing stuff with that, it probably is a rippling off consequence. And we'll see kind of what Doom's goals are and how it's kind of going to link up with Thor's visions of Thanos and the infinity-encrusted Mjolnir and the Black Gauntlet and everything that can go on with that. So I'm like, alright, we're moving forward. It was very cool to see a grown-up Lausa and her kind of relationship with Thor. It was very short, but it was really kind of nice. I'm like, yay. I always kind of like stuff with brothers and sisters like that. So we'll see kind of what goes on. what new information they will learn, when they will finally kind of like clash with Doom, because Thor's not going to let Hela just be captured like that. I mean, Hela has done some shit and he's fought against her as well, but she needs to like do stuff with Hel in the land of the dead. But we'll also have to see where Carnilla is, because it only seemed like Doom had Hela, so she could be in the wind. We'll have to see how that kind of works out. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.